Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hyperconscious Podcast. Alan, what is hyperconscious?
Once you understand why something is the way that it is, now you have the power to change it. Great conversations with great people and great questions are the keys to the kingdom of unlocking your consciousness.
Every single action that you do starts as a thought. When you control the way you think, you will control the way you act, and you will control the way you live. That is hyperconscious. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hyperconscious Podcast is proudly sponsored by our friend and mentor, David Meltzer of the Playbook Podcast. He was kind enough to join us on episode 144 and 135.
Folks, it has become Kevin and I's mission in life to help you realize that the life of your dreams is right on the other side of you becoming the greatest version of yourself. Let us help you do that.
I rarely do these things twice in such a short amount of time, but you guys impress me. I believe in people that provide value and of our service. You two guys are on your way to huge fulfillment, purpose, and profitability, and I look forward to helping you both.
We appreciate that more than you know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode where we were lucky enough to sit down with Dave Meltzer in person at his studio in Orange County.
Irvine.
I believe. Is that Orange County? I don't know anything about California. Today, geographically. For I think this is episode number 230. We are going to do a 5-minute clinic on the law of familiarity.
Yes.
My goodness.
A lot of certainty over there.
Worst intro ever.
Right. Worst intro ever.
So hammer whatever quickly, because remember, we only have 5 minutes.
Oh, that's right. So first I want you to go to the hyperconsciouspodcast.com and join hashtag hyperconsciousnation. If you click on that, you'll be prompted with 3 questions that will help us cater the content to what you are going through.
My goodness.
And you will be part of a like-minded community of hyper-conscious folks who are chasing their goals and dreams and honestly designing a life on their own terms, but they're working hard because hard work is everything.
And if you're looking for speakers, if you are the owner of a business or a corporation, or you're a student or a teacher or somebody looking to inspire and motivate your team, Alan and I would love to come in and do that. Not only inspire you and motivate you for the day, but to make long-term life changes in your mindset.
I can tell we're going to speak real well on this one.
Yeah.
Also, we'll get a lift in with you if you're interested. If we get a speech with you, that's going to be awesome.
Yes.
So each of us are going to tell a little story, 5-minute clinic style, about the law of familiarity and how it has affected us in an effort to help you guys.
Yes.
Kevin has 3 minutes. Not even.
Sometimes you need to be afraid to make a big change, I think. And I remember when we were in Florida, one of the things we talked about was like the top 5, 1 of 5. Remember that? One of the things I said I wanted to do more of was spend time with family, and I didn't. I didn't because it became familiar. Like it's familiar. Knowing your family's always there. They're always there. They're always there. They're always there. And my mom, this was like 2 months ago, my mom texted me and said, "Hey, Mima's in the hospital." Mima was my grandmother, the most OG podcast listener ever.
Oh, yeah.
Might
she
be
shares
more
everything.
OG than OG Amy. But she's in the hospital and she has pneumonia. And I don't know how old she is. I should know that. 80s. And I know pneumonia is not a good thing, especially as you get older. And, she smoked for a lot of her life. So she has COPD and those things. And I remember going to the hospital and I asked my mom, I said, like, after I saw my grandmother, I went up to the room and I saw her. And I said, how serious is this? Because, like, I don't know. Nobody's telling me. I don't know. And she said, well, it's pneumonia. Like, she could die. It's possible.
My grandmother at 94 passed away from pneumonia.
A lot of older people do because they don't have the immune systems to handle it.
Right.
And my mom said that. Like, my mom has seen hundreds of people die. She works in a nursing home.
Right. She's a CPA?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
No, you're good. CNA.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's
CPA
right.
is a tax person.
That's my bad.
She could be if she wanted, but it was hard for me, like, not knowing, is this the last time I'm ever going to see my grandmother?
Right.
Like, she means so much to me. And in that moment, you're like, oh my God, I've been screwing up so bad. Like, why haven't I been coming down and visiting? They didn't even know I was coming to California.
I know.
So the law of familiarity is creeping back in.
I know.
Literally, she was in the hospital 2 months ago.
Yep.
And it's creeping back in. So, the lesson is, imagine, Gary Vee said this, how do I stay so humble? And how do I make sure I don't let the law of familiarity creep in? Every day I imagine my family's dead. Every day.
Right.
And then I realize how lucky I am to have them.
Right.
So for you,
That's extreme, but
it's very extreme.
But,
yeah. But
Gary Vee is extreme.
For you, right, for you, imagine your life without those people that have supported you your whole life, and every day start your life with that. And I'm gonna do a far better job of that.
The law of familiarity.
Go over.
I
if you got a little
have only 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm
okay,
sorry.
so no, don't be sorry. You're fine. You're fine. It's interesting because we're gonna tell right before this episode. Just so you guys know, we said, okay, what's the story you're gonna tell? Because 5 Minute Clinic, we want to basically give you as much value as possible in a very short amount of time. You're gonna tell a very similar story. It's about family. Because I think law of familiarity that's the perfect example. You think family will always be there. That's the thing closest to our heart that we care about most that we take for granted. The law of familiarity states, it's a law. What you are around most, you will naturally start to take for granted. So don't let that happen in your friendships, your intimate relationships, especially not with your family. So I told Kevin this was going to be a hard story to tell, but I'm going to tell it because I want to be a male role model that I never had, and I want to pull back the curtain on some of the weaknesses that I have. Okay. So it's Christmas several years ago, and for those of you who listen to this show, you know that I've struggled in the past a lot with alcohol personally. I was actually talking to someone close to me recently about how I had a shot of wild turkey when I was 14 years old, and my sister was older, and she partied, and I partied with all her friends. So I realize now the roots go so deep because I started so young. And you don't. It's not even a bad thing at first. It eventually becomes one when it becomes too much as those roots grow deeper. So anyways, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm in the basement shotgunning a beer. Okay? I had quit drinking before this for, I believe, like 300, over 400 days. I remember getting over 365. I think I got over 400. I think it was like 412. But the numbers are relevant. The point is I thought I became the master and not the slave. So I decided on Christmas Eve I'm going to celebrate. And I know this sounds crazy, so who's going to celebrate shotgunning a beer in the basement with my sister's ex-fiancé, Mike? So we shotgun one. One quickly, for me, turns into two. Two turns into four. Four turns into eight. And then I do cut it off because at this point I'm feeling pretty drunk. Buzzed. And then eventually drunk because it was within like a 45-minute period. Not proud of this, okay? So I'm having fun and everything's great. And it's Christmas Eve. And it's me, Mike, my sister, and my mom. And it's this wonderful evening. My mom and sister get in a tiff. And I'm not in a resourceful state. And normally in my family, we're all very passionate. And sometimes it's tornado meets volcano. And usually one of the three of us is there to mitigate and make it better. And this is nothing against my mom or sister. They're amazing. I love them to death. But they got in a tiff, and I made it worse instead of better. And I'm shaking talking about this because I ruined Christmas. And Christmas doesn't matter that much to me. Kevin and I didn't even celebrate Christmas in Florida, but it matters so much to them. So much to them. And all the prep work that they put in to make Christmas special, I wasn't in a place where I could help my family because of my addiction. I don't even want to call it an addiction, because of my bad habit. So anyways, after that, my mom and sister and me were not in a great place for a short time. But before that, we were in such a great place. And I forgot to be grateful for the great place we were in. I forgot how strong the hold alcohol has on me. And I let that arrogance allow me to slip. And the pain associated with that the next day and the next week, trying to repair some of the fact that I ruined Christmas, was just so much pain. So when the pain is great enough, you will make a change. And I have done a really good job of not drinking anymore. So when things are good, doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So remember that.
I think we all fall into the trap. If you've ever said, I take something for granted, that means the law of familiarity is not only crept in, but it's winning. And I think when you sprain your ankle and you're like, oh, wow, I took that for granted, that's because you're familiar with just walking. You're familiar with having, the unique gifts that you have, the miracle that is life. And I appreciate you sharing that.
Amen.
It's tough. It's tough. But we want you to take our lessons, especially the painful ones, and we want to help you and mentor you into not having to fall into the pitfalls we fell into.
Right.
Because eventually, for me, my grandmother's not going to be around. Right? And I don't want to regret that. I'm taking her to Olive Garden when we get back. Like I said I was going to do it. I have to do it. Stop being an idiot, Kevin. What are we doing after this? What's the next episode we're teasing? Do we remember?
Oh, no, we didn't pick one. Small talks on
Classic.
something.
I think we should do a small talks on self-care.
Oh, yeah.
Have we done that?
I don't think so.
Because
At least not in a while.
Let's be real. We're flying back Monday.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be recording that on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So we're flying back Monday. We should have Monday evening blocked off completely, and then we record Tuesday.
Right.
So to provide context too, real quick, so the anxiety zone that Dave talked about in the episode you just heard on Sunday, I basically asked him, do you think self-care is good when you're in the anxiety zone? And he said yes. So it's a perfect
Yeah,
segue.
I'm with it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this. Use our stories, use our lessons, use our experiences as your own, and that way you can miss out on the pain that we felt, and we hope you enjoyed.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.